Hi, Daniel here. Almagia. I've not done one of these lives for a while. It's all a bit new to me once again. So as I said, Almagia.net live vlog talking about the sale or potential sale, I should say, of 25% of Birmingham City Football Club by Birmingham Sports Holdings to current Birmingham Sports Holdings shareholder Vong Pick. It's huge news. I had heard something might be happening like this. This is the only way that the club can bring in new investment because they can't sell any more shares in Birmingham Sports Holdings anymore. It's too leveraged. So this is how they're going to bring in more money. So let's talk from the top about the deal. You're going to have to bear with me because I've got another screen here where I've got the 29-page document. So I'll be reading from that at times. So if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm sorry, okay? And if you've got any questions, there is a live chat thing. Please click on it. I'll do my best to answer them. Please don't ask me if it's good or bad news because it's just news at the moment. And it doesn't happen until it's got shareholder approval. So first of all, who is Vong Pick? You may have heard of Vong Pick. He owns a company called City Real Estate Development Limited, and they own 25.63% of Birmingham Sports Holdings already. It's the Cambodia project that I've talked about before. He is the man behind this company called Oriental Rainbow Limited, British Virgin Islands, as always, investment vehicle, who are buying 25% of Birmingham City Football Club. Is Vong Pick connected to the elusive Mr. King? Yes, he is. As far as I know, yes, he is. I'll come to that later. So money side, Vong Pick is paying £5.4 million, and for that, he's getting 25% of Birmingham City Football Club, 21.64% of Birmingham City PLC, which is the parent club, the parent company, of the club. He's also getting a stake in the loan, the money that Birmingham City owe Birmingham Sports Holdings. Now, as of the 31st of August, Birmingham City owe Birmingham Sports Holdings 110 million quid. That's a spicy meatball. Sorry, my crap Italian accent there. So as part of the deal, 21.64% of that loan is getting assigned to Vong Pick. So he will be, instead of us, the club paying Birmingham Sports Holdings, they will pay him directly 23.9 million. Is this a good thing? I'm not convinced. And the reason I'm not convinced is because we saw what happened at Wigan when a guy took over, got a loan and immediately called it in. Now, I cannot say whatsoever that Vong Pick will do that. I do not think he will, but there is a possibility. And I must also, I've got to look at the facts. There's a possibility that loan could be called in. Now, this deal does not go through until it's approved by shareholders of Birmingham Sports Holdings, of which I am proud to say I am one. There will be an extraordinary general meeting, no date yet, but until that happens, that it cannot be approved. The reason for that is it is a massive chunk of the club, and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange will want to make sure that it's all done properly. Now, there's also a bit in there about the lease, the money that Birmingham City pay to Birmingham City Stadium Limited to play at St Andrews, which is 1.25 million per year. I've got to be honest, I don't quite understand that because it's a bit beyond me. There's a lot to read in this document. One of the big things that I picked up was that as part of this deal, Vong Pick is going to can do a couple of things. He's going to have the right to appoint a director to the Birmingham City Football Club board. At the moment, there are 5 directors: Joe Winching, Ren Chuan Dong, Edward Jiang Ganan, Shane Wang Yao, and Jerry Yu Chung Kong. I don't know if they'll lose one of those, but Vong Pick will be allowed to pick one. They will also establish, I'm going to read this directly, BCFC shall establish a strategic committee, which is principally responsible for formulating the strategies and plans for the overall operation and development of Birmingham City Football Club, recommending such strategies and plans to the board for approval and the implementation of the approved strategy and plan. The strategic committee shall consist of 3 members, 2 of which will be nominated by Mr. Pick, and one shall be nominated by the company. The strategic committee shall report to the BCFC board directly, and they will advise on the signing and or transfer of players, to advise on the appointments and removal of team managers, to formulate sales, marketing, and branding strategies, to make recommendations on sponsorship arrangements, to review ticket pricing, develop directions and plans for youth players in the academy, formulate corporate finance and fundraising strategies. So it's like the whole part of the club. I noticed like the transfer of players, that they're going to recommend about transfers and appointing team managers. So who are these people going to be? Two of them, the ones that the purchaser, Mr. Wong Pick, wants, have been mentioned in this. One is a Chinese guy by the name of Zhou Desheng. I've never heard of him before. He has extensive experience in the banking and finance industry, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's some Chinese banker. The other person that has been announced as to go onto the strategic committee, Mr. Michael Weissman. I don't think he needs any introduction. I don't know if Mike Weissman's been even asked to do this, but I'll be interested to know what he thinks about it. It'd be good to have someone who knows the club and who knows, well, the club inside out, whose family's been connected to it for like 100 years. It would be good to have someone in that position. Whether he'll actually have any input, I don't know. So to recap for those that I'd like, hi, if you've just come here, 25% of the club being sold to shareholder Wong Pick, 5.4 million quid. And as a part of the sale, he gets to appoint a director, he gets to appoint people to help run the club, which, if you think about it, if you're buying a stake in Birmingham City, that's what you'd want as well. Now, there is something in there that says that there's potential for a further sale of the club, so you might want to buy more, but obviously that has to be approved by the stock exchange because Birmingham City makes up such a huge percentage of the holding company. Now, I bet people are going to ask about things like fit and proper persons test. Now, from what I know, Wong Pick should have already taken that. As someone who owns 25.63% of the club already, he is going to be eligible to have taken it because he owns more than 10%. What the Football League, what the EFL have done about that, God knows. The owners and directors test is crap. But yes, he will have already taken it, so I don't think he will have to take it again. It will make him the largest shareholder. He will overtake Paul Soon Cho Hung as the largest shareholder in the club. So, Wong Pick is his connections to Mr. King. Who is Wong Pick? So, I've talked about the Cambodia thing before. Back a couple of years ago, Birmingham Sports Holdings invested in a Cambodia project, which was flats and commercial buildings in Phnom Penh, the Cambodian capital. It's not really made any money, but and as part of that, basically, instead of paying for it, they swapped 25% of the company for this thing called One Park. And Wong Pick became, as the guy who owns it all, he became a massive shareholder in BSH. Now, the previous owner of Grass City Real Estate Development Limited, according to opencorporates.com, you can check this out for yourself, is a man by the name of Wan Saka. Now, I happen to know that Wan Saka is the second in command of the embassy to the Royal Cambodian Embassy to the Republic of Singapore. And he has the title Minister Councillor. And he also goes by the name of Wang Yao Hoi, or the illustrious Mr. King. There is also connections between Wong Pick and Zhou Wenqing. They're both directors of a bank in Cambodia, the Asia Pacific Specialized Bank. There's about 60 companies that Wong Pick's got his fingers in Cambodia. Lots of real estate, lots of that sort of thing. And a lot of them also mention this Wan Saka character. One of the big ones that I found was something called Asia Pacific Energy Holdings, which is owned by a Singapore company, which is owned by, which has as director Mr. King's driver, and is owned by a BVI company and a lady by the name of Sokyap Chung, who is big in Cambodia, and also might be corrupt. Yeah, wonderful. So getting back to the point, is this good news or is this bad news? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of good news in that basically 5.4 million more coming into the company. They need that. But the fact that the club owns BSH 110 million should scare you. It scares me. And I know that BSH owe a load of money elsewhere. The fact that we now own that the club will owe 23.9 million to this Wong Pick, and I'll be honest with you, no one knows much about him. That's kind of scary too, because again, the Wigan precedent, the whole Wigan thing, you know. So I'm just going to try and answer a couple of questions. Spiked, did this come out of the blue? No, it didn't. I kind of got wind of this, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe longer. But I didn't know what the name of the company would be that would buy it. I thought it'd be one of his Cambodian ones. But no, it's obviously been done by Oriental Rainbow Investments Limited, a BVI company. So, like, it's going to be absolutely and utterly opaque. 5 million is such a small figure for a quarter of the club. The club's not worth much. I thought Carson massively overpaid for it when he paid 80 million. I can't believe Birmingham Sports Holdings is worth 230 million. So 5 million for 25% of the club, 20 million. I think it's worth it. Everything connected to Blues always sounds dodgy. Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to be honest. Everything connected to football has shades of dodginess about it. It's just the way it is. This means that Don could go if not picked by Von Pick's board. I don't think Don will go. I think I know who will, and I believe it will be the Hong Kong member of the board, Jerry Yu Chung Kong. Whether it will be him or not, I don't know. But he's Mr. Soon's man on the board, and I can absolutely believe he's the one who's going to make way for Mr. Pick's member. Who Mr. Pick will pick, no pun intended. No idea. I'm really intrigued by the strategic committee as well, because it's something I think people have talked about in the past, the idea that there's some overarching control over how the club is run. Mike Wiseman's a very intriguing pick for that. But again, it all comes down to, like, they're supposed to advise the board. How much advice will the board actually take? Is Mr. Pick loaded? Your guess is as good as mine. Absolutely no idea. The only thing I can tell you is that he's Cambodian, but he was born in China. And I suspect, but I don't know, that Von Pick wasn't the name he was born with, because he was born in China. I'm going to recap one more time, and then this video will actually remain on my channel, so you can rewatch it. I'm also going to write something up because I like to write things. To recap, it has to go for shareholder approval. It's 25% of the club. It's to a man who already is a shareholder and thus should have already taken the owners and directors test. And it's to a man who is, I believe, connected to the elusive Mr. King. Please like this video. Please click the subscribe button because it helps. It helps these videos. It helps me to make more. I have been planning on doing more videos over the next few weeks, but it's all about time, isn't it? Thank you for watching. Keep right on.